experts are warning that nursery and childminder places will become even harder to find as the plan to expand funded childcare hours in England rolls out. At the moment, 30 hours of childcare is paid for by the government, and it's available to working parents of 3 and 4-year-olds. I mean, it's such a help, that, isn't it? I remember our payment, and luckily we only have the one child, but I remember our payment used to be like a mortgage repayment each month for the nursery. I mean, the nursery were brilliant, they really were, but it's a huge chunk of change. However, the good news for parents is it's all being extended to include preschool children from the age of 9 months by September of 2025. But analysis by the BBC Verify estimates that demand is likely to rise by 4 million hours a week by then, which is the equivalent of 100,000 more children in full-time care. So the extra demand comes at a cost as the sector is struggling with a decreasing workforce and a lack of childcare spaces in some areas. But some parts of the sector are expanding, so it's a bit confusing, really. Our reporter, Cara Thorpe, has been to a nursery in our region to find out how staff and parents are feeling ahead of these changes.
Hi, I'm Alice McCullough and I'm the Managing Director at Rosedene Nurseries, and we have 10 early years settings across the North East and North Yorkshire. As of April, parents will be able to access more funding from the age of 2, which is amazing. This is on top of the 3 and 4-year-old funding that already exists. And then from September, this will be for children from the age of 9 months. And then 2025 means that there'll be 30 hours childcare available for all parents from the age of 9 months. Nobody makes it easy for parents, and we work a lot with our managers in them taking parents through that every step of the way. There's a lot of statistics recently that a lot of parents aren't accessing the childcare funding because it is too difficult to understand. They don't know what's available.
What is it you're making?
I'm making the sandcastle.
We're expecting an influx of 2-year-olds coming in from April, taking advantage of this funded childcare.
Is the word getting out there then? Are the parents aware that these changes are happening next year? Do you have a waiting list, for example?
Yes, we have a waiting list in a couple of the nurseries. To be honest, I think there's a lot of parents that are in childcare and not actually getting the access to the funding that's available to them, and hopefully the government will start explaining a little bit more about what's to come.
So if you have a waiting list, if you've got parents who are keen and eager to take advantage of these new free hours, does that mean that you're already planning ahead staffing-wise? Have you started to up the number in preparation for what's to come?
Yes, we have a really strong training academy here where we bring on apprentices and we get opportunities to move the staff from one place to another. Yeah, we've got lots to think about over the next couple of months.
I made the square.
Where does the sand come from? You made a square. Well done.
Hi, I'm Laura and I'm the nursery manager here at Rosedene Sunrise. This is our 0 to 2 year room. They've just sat down having some snack.
So you've got happy little people. What about happy bigger people? I mean, we're talking about a potential influx of a lot more children into the setting come April next year. And are you slightly concerned as a manager? Or do you feel your staff are going to cope?
I think the staff will cope fine. We are used to being a busy nursery anyway, so nothing will be massively different to us. We like to really look after the well-being of staff. You know, it might be a challenging time and that's fine, but we get through things together as a team and we're always there to support one another. We will employ more staff where needed and hopefully it won't be a problem.
Clamshell.
So I am joined by 2 mummies in front of me now. We've got Amy and Caris. Hello.
Hello.
Your little ones are both here whilst you guys are at work. The government is trying to encourage parents to go back to work even sooner. We have got 3 hours coming up for 2-year-olds. That's going to lower to 9 months. Is this a good thing to try and encourage parents back into work? Is this something that you guys are going to take advantage of?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be very empowering for families, particularly women, getting back into the workplace and then being able to access childcare, which is funded. I mean, it's going to save my family probably upwards of £7,000 a year, which is going to be very significant for us, particularly in a cost of living crisis.
It's going to take a lot of stress away from families, and there's more options now instead of having to think where we're going to get the money from.
My daughter thankfully turns 2 before April, so she'll be able to benefit straight away.
Have you guys have any friends or people that you know have even considered putting off having children because of the childcare costs, because they can be prohibitive in some areas?
Absolutely. I know many of my friends who are having second children straight away, and then with the new funding it has allowed them to explore that option if they wanted to.
We've seen some shocking statistics from the Early Years Alliance that show nearly 5,000 registered early years providers have closed in the last year, which has doubled from the year before.
Have you heard of any settings locally at all who've just had to close and hold their hands up and say, look, we just can't cope, it's too much?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a number of settings across every local authority area. So it is real, and a lot of that's driven by the gaps in the government-funded childcare.
Have you got any advice for other parents listening right now with these daunting changes on the horizon in 2024?
I definitely say jump at the opportunity, because I feel like for working parents, honestly, it's just a gift. It's been very frustrating not having the help, not having the support, and we're finally getting somewhere now, because it's not just those who aren't working struggling. The cost of living is actually affecting those who are working as well.
Get on the waiting list. You know, there's a lot in the press at the moment that can be quite scary about nursery closures, and I think it's just being proactive, looking for a nursery that suits you and your family.
Ready? Oh, the ship's coming in.
Oh, well, let us know what you think.